Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Cameron Jackson here with me today. How you doing, Cameron?
I'm doing good.
That's good. I see you rocking the Boston cap. You like Boston?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You a sportsman?
Yes, sir.
When did you start watching sports?
Let's see. I don't even really know. I think like 5, maybe 6.
Okay.
Around then.
Watching it with your dad or your mom?
Grandparents.
Oh, okay. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're dealing with somebody who has an old soul today. And when I say old soul, I mean he's got some talent and some perspective as if he's been here before. I want you to take a moment to locate America's Next Motivator TV show page, like and subscribe, find us on YouTube, and just hang out with us for a little bit. How you feeling out there today, Cameron?
I'm feeling great, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
I like that response. You could have said anything in the world, but you said something that can make us all feel good on this Friday evening. Where you from?
So I was born in Alexandria, and I moved to California. So now I'm back in Virginia. So
okay, where is Alexandria located?
Alexandria is located in Virginia, like right when you cross the bridge coming off out of Maryland. So it's right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's it like for you having lived in Alexandria? What are some of the cool things that go on there?
I'm not really sure. It's kind of chill. There's not a lot of that goes on in the DMV. It's just, music. What else?
Yeah. I mean, anytime you got music, I'm sure you know what a good barbecue is like.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, a good barbecue, open field, open grass, large assemblies of people having a good time. Those are big time luxuries, when you're living somewhere like in the DMV area. And for somebody like me living in Brooklyn, New York, I don't always have a big yard or, a nice smoking grill somewhere on a regular basis. So, I appreciate the fact that you're from Alexandria. Now, do you remember traveling to different places? What was it like in California?
California is amazing. I want to go back because it's hot. Now it is fires out there, but aside from the fires, it's hot. It barely rains. It doesn't snow at all, which is kind of cool because you don't have to be cold. And it's a lot of artists out there and other people in the industry I'm in, and also in the movie industry too. So.
Okay. Wow. I'm gonna ask this early. How old are you?
I'm 15.
Wow. 15.
Yes, sir.
And you already seem to have a direction in your life. You already are into several businesses, which we're going to talk about, and you are applying yourself in several different fields, even at the young age of 15. And for me, I find that to be very, very impressive. Now, do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother.
Okay. Does your brother do anything extracurricular? Does he play any instruments, have any businesses or anything like that?
Yes. So my brother plays bass, keyboard, a little bit of drums, guitar. So he's like a multi-instrumentalist. I'm not, but so that's what he does. And as far as business goes, he helps my parents like I do with their business. So we work on masks, shirts. That's what we're doing now. And we're getting ready to work on hats as well.
Wow. What's it like for you and your brother, but obviously speak from your perspective, to be able to work with your parents on family businesses? What's that like?
At times it can be scary. At times it's cool. And at times it's just straight up sad.
What do you mean by that, though? Can you paint that picture?
Yes, sir.
Um, tell me about a time when working with your parents was teaching you something. Talk to me about a time when you learned something from working with your parents.
So last night, really.
Okay.
So we made this shirt that I'm wearing now for my Instagram called Cam the Pocket Man. And
Okay.
during us making that shirt, we had to use the press, and I learned how to use vinyl, put it on the shirt, make the design. Yeah.
Wow. Now, if you can't walk us through some of that, there's a lot of people out there in the world, me included. We're interested in t-shirts. We want to create our own merchandise, but don't have the slightest clue of how to get it done. And it sounds like you and your parents took a hands-on approach to learning how to do that. What goes into to vinyl printing your own shirts? How do you do it?
Okay. So, from my knowledge, first you need money, of course, because
Mm-hmm.
you have to buy the press, you have to buy the vinyl, and you definitely have to have a shirt to print on.
Okay.
Which you can do by yourself. Most people, from what I know, they go to like a website and they get it done for them. But for us, we want to do it ourselves because we know the quality of it and we'll know it'll be good. So basically, what you do is you have to make the design on a computer. Once you make the design, you have to basically go and put it on the shirt the way you want it. So, like right now, I wanted a drum set as one of the logos on my shirt, and the top part, which reads established in 2005,
Mhm.
stay in the pocket. So what we basically had to do, we had to go and print out the words on vinyl. And what that does is it cuts all those words out and everything. And then you got to go weeding, which is when you take, like, the vinyl has a sheet under it, a plastic sheet that it sticks to. And you basically have to take all that extra vinyl off and leave on the stuff that you want,
Okay.
which I'm still trying to get the hang of because
Okay.
last night my mom did it. So and then once you do that, you put it on the shirt while you have it on the press, and the press is very hot. So anybody who's doing this, be careful. And then once you do that, you go and lay the press on. You put it on the shirt, you lay it down, you press it, and once it presses, basically the heat transfers the vinyl to the shirt so it sticks.
Okay.
And,
Wow.
and once it sticks, you have either a perfect shirt or you have a messed up shirt, and you know what you got to work on.
Right. Right. You sound like you've been doing this for a number of years. And, this is one of the things that I appreciate about people and particularly younger people. You're teaching me something today. And I think that, we live in a world where the young people, they can teach you things. So I appreciate that from you. I've been trying to do my own shirts for a little while now. I got on a promotional shirt right now.
Well, that
And
is
I
nice.
actually ordered this offline, but based on what you're teaching me, I could have did that at home.
You could
Now,
have.
go ahead.
Now, what we also do is, as far as a family, if people want shirts done, you also can contact either me or my parents, which I will shout them out, which is Siobhan or Lataria Jackson, and Alton Jackson or Collab Entertainment. You can ask them to make your shirts, and they'll make them for you too, because we also
Okay.
do that as well.
Wow. Your shirt says play in the pocket. What does that mean?
So stay in the pocket, it's a drum term. When you're staying in the pocket, you aren't chopping, which is basically doing everything where you're like rolling all over the place, hitting everything. Staying in the pocket is when you're on time, you're making sure that if you do something, it helps the singer or the song, and you just kind of feel it.
Mm. Okay. So you're a drummer. You're a drummer.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this young man is a drummer, and I want you to imagine, where you could see him going. I see him going all across the world, you know. But take some time to imagine with me if you're out there. I appreciate you for watching. Danielle Taylor, we appreciate you. Christopher Jackson, Corinne Riley, Yvette Smith Parker, we appreciate each and every one of you. Ani Keen Riley, thanks each and every one of y'all for coming through and helping us to imagine Cameron Jackson's future, because that's what we're looking at right now is the future. The future. Cameron, when did you start playing the drums?
So I started playing when I was 6 months years old, from when my
Wow.
parents, or yeah, 6 months years old. So basically, my parents told me this. Now, I don't remember anything, but they said I literally would wake up at any time in the morning and grab whatever I could and start beating on the wall.
Okay.
And that's how I got started, you could say.
Right. You know, that's a great example of identifying your child's talents early, and how identifying your child's talents early can manifest into them pretty much being the captain of their own ship. Now, have you been able to incorporate playing the drums into any other aspects of what you do? For instance, maybe maybe at school or maybe in a community. Sometimes when you tell people, I want to be a musician, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a singer, I want to be an artist, they say, well, keep school first. Is there any way that you've been able to mix music and school together?
Well, music kind of has to do with school because math. So in music, you have to know measurements, which measurements are like you have a measure, a 4/4 measure. So in that 4/4 measure, you have 4 beats, right? So you have to be able to count 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Like before, if you're reading, you have to be able to count that before you go into the next part of a song. And if you're not reading, you got to be able to count that so you memorize where you're going in the song.
Wow. So music is math.
Basically.
So when I'm looking at a sheet of music, essentially I'm looking at a sheet of numbers?
No. So when you're looking at a sheet of music, you're looking at notes. Now, when you're looking at the notes, the math is you have to be able to count. So you're playing the stuff on the right tempo or on the right beat. So if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have something, for example, going boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, you have to be able to know how to subdivide if you have to. You have to be able to know how to make sure that your hits land on the right timing so you don't sound like you don't know what you're doing.
Okay. You sound like a very talented man. You said you got to be able to subdivide. My mind is like pausing right now. This man is subdividing. Do you have a preference, whether it be synthetic music versus live music? Do you like one better than the other?
No. So I like them both. As far as playing live, because I actually get people to watch me other than synthetic, because most of the time you're in the studio for that. So yeah.
All right. Now, I actually found a video of some of your work on the internet, and I'm going to play it, and then we can talk about it a little bit briefly after, okay?
Okay.
All right. So just give me 1 sec. I'm going to pull this clip up. Cameron Jackson is in the building, y'all. He's doing his thing. I'm proud of him. Let's check it out.
Hey you, my symbol is S, and that don't stand for stress. I'm talking number 16, man, God bless. You can definitely rock to this. 32 is my AMU, you probably asking what is that, and I don't know. Just kidding. That's my time asking it, and that's how you know I'm committed, yeah. I'm a yellow crystal, and some people know I'm using batteries to turn the sand from the sides for sure. And don't mess with me. If my show first say I might expose you see, don't come at me. As you can see, I'm a non-metal, get ready to be free. Yeah, now I gotta go. I'm out, yo.
Okay. I think that was great. Now, what parts of that entire video did you actually create?
So I made the beat. I did the lyric writing. I did the actual rapping / singing. I did the video, which with my mom's help, and the studio work kind of, because my dad also helped mix it, but I was in there for that, so I kind of said I want this and that. So
keep it real. You got an A on that project, didn't you? You got an A.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you did too. Yeah, I think you did too. That's a great example of how you can incorporate the arts. And Yvette Smith Parker says, very good BPMs. it's an interdisciplinary thing that you're doing, and it creates a very well-rounded individual. And so I think that that's pretty cool. I learned a few things about sulfur right there in the video. You know, it's a crystal. Who knew that sulfur was a crystal?
I know I made that song. So
now, what are some other things that you do outside of music?
so outside of music, really, just family. Other than that, everything is music. My life is based on music for the most part. And schooling, of course, you can do music with schooling, but most of the time it's separated. So yeah.
So what do you think is the coolest part about, you know, having a family that you can explore the world with? What do you think is the coolest aspect of that?
The people you get to meet off the bat.
Give me an example.
So, like, shout out to Chad A. Wright. So, in California, my family kind of met Chad A. Wright, who was a drummer for the Jacksons and Bruce Hornsby. And they met him, and through them meeting him, I got to meet him. So now they're good friends, and you get to meet people all over the world.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Okay. And so where are you going with all of this? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see myself going first to Berklee College of Music in Boston. That's a dream. And then touring.
Okay.
With a big artist or a small artist, just touring in general. So.
Right. Wow. How'd you figure out that you wanted to go to Berklee?
So first, I knew I wanted to go to a music school off the back.
Okay.
Because it's different from going to a regular school where it's just you doing music and nobody surrounding you. So I kind of found Berklee in a way. It kind of found me, actually. So that was pretty cool. And I went there for the summer, and I realized that obviously that is definitely the place for me. So.
And why? And I mean, what was it that stuck out to you where it made you feel like this is the place for me?
First, all the people that I met who were musicians, and they actually understood everything. Because it's different when, like, for example, if I'm talking to a random person about music or a friend about music who has nothing to do with it, they're just like, okay, you're kind of just blabbing about whatever. I don't understand you. So to go to Berklee and talk to people and be like, well, this is the BPM, and they're like, wow, I really understand that. Or, man, I love that paradiddle you did. They're like, oh, man, I can show you how to do it too. So it's it was pretty cool.
Yep. What's a paradiddle, by the way?
So a paradiddle is a rudiment, and a rudiment is for all musicians and other things. So how do I explain this? A paradiddle is, I'm going to just let you hear it. So it's right, left, right, left, left. And you just keep doing that.
Let me see if I hold on. All right, do it one more time.
So right, left, left, right, left.
Do it one more time.
Right, left, left, right, left. So you go back and forth between those two.
All right. Right, left, right.
Left. So think about it this way. So 2, 1, 2. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have right. That's 2. Then you hit one left and then another right. Then you switch and do it again. On the other hand.
What's the purpose of it?
It's a warm up for when you go to like concerts or when you're about to play. Before you start practicing, it gets your body ready for what you're about to do, so you feel ready to play. You aren't just going in and you're like just off the bat going.
Do you know anything about historical roots in music? For instance, does the paradiddle, it's a paradiddle, right?
Yes, sir.
Does the paradiddle appear anywhere in South America, Africa, Europe, Ireland? Does it appear in other places around the world? Does it have historic roots?
Yes, I think as far as I know, I know they used it in war, like going out into walking out there. They would do rudiments for walking out. And right before the war, you know how people used to walk out with instruments, a drum and a flute, at least what they told us. And they would start playing, and then the war would happen once they got back. I know that. And as far as drums go, drums are historic for many reasons. Drums were used for battle. Drums were used to signify unity. So they were used for multiple things.
Mm-hmm. So the phrase "walking to the beat of your own drum," that came to mind when you were explaining the history of the paradiddle.
I think so. I'm not being sure on that one.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm a deep thinker, and when I get new information, I connect all type of dots. So never mind me. But what you're saying is really informative, and it's really cool. I'm going to ask you another abstract question.
Okay.
Do you think that the drums can be used to address social issues in our communities today?
Yes, and they already have been.
Wow. Explain.
So, during slavery times, I'm gonna go back, way back. During slavery times,
you're gonna take us back. Can you also bring us to the future?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back. So during slavery times, I watched the documentary, and during slavery times, the slaves, once they escaped, they would have drums to tell other slaves, come so we can revolt, right? Mm-hmm. So they would play drums as walking, and they would start to get together so they can revolt, which is crazy to me because I'm like, I'm a drummer. They're doing this. I didn't even know it was that powerful. So that's old. But now drums is a way of music, and music is in every language throughout the whole world. So in any song, you will have some type of drums, whether it be electric, live, congos, which is a type of drum. Any type of drum will be there. And that drum gives you a beat, a steady beat of whatever BPM, beats per minute. And that lets other people, it could be in rap. Rap tells people about what's going on socially. It could be in conversational music where they're talking about like the world is going down right now. We need to stand together. It could be through anything.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that as a community that more people need to learn how to play instruments, and the drums being one of them?
Not necessarily. I think you should do it if you actually want to. I think drums are important, but there's so many other things that are important too in the community that music and instruments aren't the only thing. I think drums, they're important, as I said, but I really don't think they're important for the community to grow. I think it just helps the community to grow.
Yeah. I hear you, and I still think that you're making a big time evaluation of it when you say it's bigger than music, because it definitely is bigger than music. So I definitely hear you there. Now, are there any particular drums, and you can educate me about other instruments too, but I know you play the drums, and me personally, I was always fascinated with the drummer. When I was in church, I mean, you got the pastor and you got the drummer. I love the pastor, but I love the drummer too, because the drummer is, like you said, the drummer is getting everybody on one accord. He's getting everybody to feel the moment. Mm-hmm. What are the different types of drums that are out there to be played?
Okay. So let's direct this. Are you talking about drum companies, or are you just talking about drums in general?
What's a drum company?
So drum company is like the companies that actually make the sets. Okay. So you got DW, you got Yamaha, Pearl, Tama, you got a bunch. Okay. Endless. So you got that. Then you actually have different types of drums like congos, taikos, actual drum sets. What else? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, dude. What's the name of the drum where it's like usually in a Caribbean commercial and it's got all these different sides to it, and you take the stick and no matter where you hit, it's like a little bowl. The drum is like
steel pan?
Huh?
Steel pan?
That's what it is?
I think so. Is that if I'm correct? It's like a metal bowl,
Yep.
and the key starts changing wherever they hit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a steel pan.
Wow. Very knowledgeable, ladies and gentlemen. If you know a young person who's involved in music in any way, I think this would be a great broadcast for them to tune into. You know, a young adult or an adult that wants to touch up or be inspired by the path of this young man, tap somebody on the shoulder and send them on over here. Would you be open to to working with other young artists out there?
Definitely.
Definitely.
First, because whatever they have, I can take in any way, whether it be good or bad. I could take it. I could use it. They could take what I have. Basically, it's a trade.
Mm-hmm.
You give me what you got, I give you what I have, and we put it together.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that it's important? Do you think that it's more important to collaborate than to compete against one another?
No. Competition is good, but also collaboration is great too.
Yeah.
Collabing gives you the ideas of, wow, this is great. I love the way this sounds. I love the way he used it. Now I'm gonna add to it. Now competition gives you, this is what I gotta work on.
Right.
Because he beat me, or whatever the case may be, he did this better than me. So now I know that to get in the game, I need to get this done. Because in the music industry, to get a job, you're always going to compete against somebody for your job.
Right.
There's never a time when unless it's two drummers, but even then, you still got to compete.
That's right.
So I think they're both necessary, and I think they're both good.
That's a fact. Hey, I like you a lot, man. You're not easily swayed by the question. You direct your response, and I think that's the sign of a leader. What I heard from this young man was that competition is valuable, but collaboration is also valuable.
Yes.
Calvin Polk in the building says, very open-minded young man. Hannah Foster says, go Cam. Calvin says, great attitude. You're getting a lot of love out there.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Cam Jackson is not just talking the talk. He's going to walk the walk after this break. When we come back, he's going to do a live performance right in front of us. So like I said, I want you to tap somebody on the shoulder, get him in here to this broadcast, and we'll be right back after a brief message. More with Cam Jackson. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cam in the Pocket Jackson right here set up. As you can see, this man is a professional drummer. He's not playing any games with us at all. Hey, Cam, if you can hear me out there, we're ready when you are to go ahead and rock and roll.
Pull it, here, not cherry, pull it, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, I'm the biggest hit, I'm the biggest hit on the stage. I'm the biggest hit, I'm the biggest hit on the stage. I'm the biggest hit, I'm the biggest hit on the stage. I'm the biggest hit, I'm the biggest hit on the stage. 시간이 되기 반드시 아마 또 맘땡땡 귀신 한 박을 거려 다들 못해 모두 따라와 yo hands up in the air we back get away 이제 막 터질 거야 everywhere 나를 삼켜봐 그리고 내 어깨 너의 그 오래 저리 언제 터질지 몰라 Popping your head like King Mitchell The fireman gun fireworks cherries in the sky I'm the biggest hit on the stage I'm the biggest hit I'm the biggest hit on the stage If you're happy and you know it clap your hands up If you're happy and you know it clap your hands Pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like I'm the biggest hit, I'm the biggest hit. It tastes like a cherry bomb, yeah, more than one 이거 폭발 직전은 기분 중간에 두드리 노래 부어야지 나나나 거칠한 너희들 다 뽑아냈지 나 깜짝 놀라겠지 모두 다 we gonna make it I'm the biggest hit on the stage I'm the biggest hit I'm the biggest hit on the stage You're happy and you know it clap your hands You're in this game you're happy and you know it clap your hands Pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like 끝이 어디인지 어디까지 갈 수 있는지 이제 시작해서도 happy 꺼내지는 모습 It's so fly 설레기 같은 세상 속에 갇혀있는 싶지는 않아 Hard rock star, heads up rock, no top 어디 가나 속에 내 삶 싶은 times 가나 가볍게 봐 Hey, 너네 덕에 분명히 정신을 차리네 여기 내 거실에서 위치나 벗어만해 어린이 나와 뺏어와고 빛에 기빠지는 나보기를 바래 히를 싹싹 멀어서 너네가 쏘아 야 정신을 뺏어볼 쏘는 여자 던져버리나 벗어봐 저리 봐 I'm the biggest hit on the stage. I'm the biggest hit. I'm the biggest hit on the stage. I'm the biggest hit. I'm the biggest hit on the stage. If you happy and you know it, clap your hands, yo. If you happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you happy and you know it, clap your hands, yeah. Pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, pear, like cherry, yum, yum. I'm the biggest hit. I'm the biggest hit on the stage. I'm the biggest hit. I'm the biggest hit on the stage. I'm the biggest hit on the stage.
Wow, wow. You know what? I really appreciated that, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Cam Jackson. Give me 1 second here. And we're back. You know what? You killed it.
Thank you.
I'm here to read. Talk to me a little bit about all that performance right there. I noticed you were hitting all the drums, you were grabbing cymbals, calming them down, and when I thought you were done, I mean, you had like a whole nother, several measures to go. Like, how long you been practicing on that piece right there?
A day.
A day?
So yesterday I practiced for like a day. Yeah, yesterday was the only day I really got to practice. So yeah.
One day, man. You're more talented. You're more talented than I could have ever assumed before talking to you today. Calvin Polk says, "Did you go to drum school? Did Cam just pick up the sticks and start playing as a young kid like that?"
I picked up the sticks and started playing. The only time I went to drum school like last year, but I was already playing for churches and stuff. So last year, and it really was only for reading. So that was the only drum school I've ever went to.
Wow, you know what? I didn't even know drum school was a thing.
Me either.
Hey, I want you to take a few seconds and just, spread some inspiration to other young people out there who might want to do what you do someday.
Go for it. That's all I can say. Go for it and make sure if you want to do it, invest in it all the way. Do not go and do it halfway and say, well, I want to quit now. Because once you're in it, you're in it.
Wow. That's big time jewels right there, because, a lot of the time you start something and you stop in the middle of it or you don't finish.
Yes.
If somebody wants to bring you to their family reunion or to one of their events, how can we get in touch with you and your family?
So you can go to my Instagram page, which is Cam_the_Pocket-Man. Or you could go to my Facebook page, which is Cameron Jackson. And lastly, you can go to Collab Entertainment or GOH. Facebook? The GOH Experience. And then you just will be talking to my family to get to me if you have to.
Mm-hmm. And I see you got merchandise.
Yes, sir.
You got music. You produce for people. But you also you got another ram in the bush out there too. You also do your own show.
Yes. So next Friday, or every other Friday, I have a show where it's called Music Wonders, where I interview people in the industry or who are starting in the industry and are getting their grounding.
Wow.
So anybody who wants to watch that, just go to my Instagram again. And basically all you have to do is tune in on my lives. And next week, quick little snippet. Next week, I'll have Sakari Regland, who is a flutist out of California, and we'll be talking about her career and what are available. And it's at 9:30 on the East Coast, and on the West Coast, it's at 6:30.
Wow. Big. I think that's great. You ever thought about doing shows on Facebook too?
Yes. The only problem is with Instagram and Facebook, you would need 2 different phones, which I researched, but it's like they were saying if you have 2 different phones, one of the people, which I was so confused about this, so I was like, I'll leave it alone, but one of the people will feel left out. So right now I'm starting on Instagram, and eventually I'll start to cross over to Facebook, and then I'll get to the point where I start doing multiple TV shows maybe, and Facebook and Instagram all at once.
Wow. Is there anybody out there who's doing what you want to do that you look up to and admire?
Yes, a bunch of people.
Like who?
My dad, my mom, again, Mr. Che, who is his brother, his twin brother. He's doing the touring thing, and they worked on a bunch of stuff. Aaron Spears is another drummer that I really like, and he's doing it. You just have a bunch of drummers who are doing the thing, and I just have to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to look at what people have done before you came, so that you can understand what you're really a part of. Just like earlier when you were talking about the ancient history of the drums, what the drums have done for communities, and what the drums can potentially do for the community. So, I think you're right on track when you talk about, pretty much respecting where you came from. The first people out of your mouth you said thankful to, that you were thankful for, was your parents. I think that's great.
Yes.
That's great.
If I'm gonna be real, my dad and my mom keep it so real that it's not even funny. Like when I'm practicing, if it's bad, they'll tell me it's horrible. You know, if it's good, it's good. So I have to thank them first, because they basically let me know if anybody else doesn't, which I know people do, but if anybody else doesn't tell me, I know they will. So,
and that's what you need. You can't always be surrounded by people who are just going to tell you, yes, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds great. You got to have people that's going to be honest with you. Got to have people that's honest with you. And talk to me about how do you keep your head on straight when somebody has constructive criticism for you?
You take it for what it is. You take it and you apply it, or you take it and just like shove it off. It really doesn't, because at times there'll be people who, which I know you dealt with this in your own field, where they'll say something that you know is completely false, but you take it because it's rude to just be like, man, just get out my face. So
right.
And if it's good for you, you apply it. If it's bad for you, you say, okay, thank you, and keep it moving.
Now, do you have any projects coming up? What are some of the things that you're working on right now that that we can be looking out for?
So first, I'm working on hopefully getting an endorsement with a company called Domain, which any drummers or anybody who are looking for any type of cymbals, go check them out. It's a Black-owned business. The owner is Kennard Cherry. He's phenomenal. They make sure that you're taken care of 100%.
Okay. And so when you're looking for endorsements, would you get an endorsement because you're drumming competitively, or just because you're producing projects?
So endorsements, it depends on what you're doing. Because for drummers, at times you can get it if you're doing it competitively or if you're touring. Because from what I know, once you try to get an endorsement, they have to look at how many gigs you're doing, which a gig is events. Then you have to look out, like, are you going to promote our symbol, or are you just going to hide it under, the table so nobody can see it? Because they want you to be the advertisement to other people. So like Zildjian, which I am a big fan of Zildjian. If you look at Zildjian, the drummers who play Zildjian, their cymbals are wide. They have them on like Zildjian Lives, which is where they come in and they play for Zildjian audiences. And so it's basically, you are advertisement. You advertise their products, and hopefully you get people to get their products because you are. And you can change your endorsement deals depending on what you agree to.
Okay. We're gonna be imaginative for a second.
Okay.
If you had $1 million, if you had $1 million, if you had $1 million, what would be the top 3 things you would buy?
Okay. First, I'm gonna buy my dream drum set, which is a DW 7-piece kit with all the hardware. That's first. Second, I'm gonna get some Domain cymbals. I'm gonna get some Zildjian cymbals and Sabians, just to have a wide range of cymbals. Third, I'm gonna buy a rolling pad and a DTX Multi 12, which is the pad I was using while I was playing. When you heard those claps, that's the DTX Multi 12, which is Yamaha, and Roland has its own pad. I would help people, of course. I would start businesses to help people first. That's first thing. I would start businesses to help people. Once I start the business, I will invest in other people so they can start businesses. I will take care of all my workers, and I will also take care of families and anybody who needs it. Once I get anything that I need and make sure my family is taken care of and my career is set, I probably will get all that money away and try to regain it from my businesses. So the homeless or people who just need it.
You're already thinking about philanthropy. I think that's huge, because giving back is a way of growing and moving forward. So when anytime you're giving back, it's going to help you, because there's a spiritual component to that. When you do something good to somebody, as they say, what goes around comes around. When you're giving something to somebody, it's almost like you can imagine that positive things are going to come back into your life.
In short words, if you sow your seed will grow.
Boom.
So if I go and for example, if I have somebody working for me and I say, here is $1,000, 100, whatever, just anything.
Right.
And they build their business. Eventually, they're going to look back to you and say, well, you helped me. So now I want to help you in your downtime.
Yep.
Now, it's not always that case because you do have people who are just greedy and are rude. But most of the time, at least in my case, most of the time, people want to help you once you help them. Mm-hmm. It's like a get and return process.
Do you play at church today? Do you play at church?
So since Corona, I kind of like backed up, but I do play with my family, which we have our own Christian group called GOH Experience, which I mentioned earlier. And we do every Sunday at 7:00, we do worship. So we basically play and we just on Facebook, of course. And we just, do our thing.
Well, I actually want to unpack that a little bit, and I want to understand a clear picture, because now this is a whole nother layer to it, that you and your family, y'all actually perform together. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
What's the name of it?
It's called the GOH Experience, which is Givers of Hope.
Wow. The Givers of Hope.
Yes.
Experience. Now, I think that this is very inspirational, and I think that is an example of what other families can aspire to, or at least appreciate, just knowing that it's out there. So what you're telling me is that you and your family, y'all work together to produce a spiritual experience called the Givers of Hope Experience.
Yes.
Wow. How long has that been going on?
Let's see. A long time, I guess.
Yeah, a long time.
First, it kind of developed into our family because at first we had like a bunch of kids, me and my brother and a couple of our friends doing it, where we went to churches and my parents would basically train us to perform. So then the kids we moved and the kids kind of started fading away, which we're still friends with them, but it kind of backed up. So then we turned it to our family and we started going out and performing places at events and other things like that. So
I think that is great. How does it feel when you and your family are, really, I want to say rocking out, but is not rock music, but I mean, getting into the spirit. How does it feel when you and your family are getting into the spirit, playing all that music and speaking and really getting into the vibe? How does that feel?
Good, because you're helping people in the long run, depending, even if they aren't Christian or whatever religion they are, that the music is good, so they don't have to worry about, I'm gonna be put down because he's like, I gotta get the girls, drugs, money, and everything else. So you know that you're helping somebody, even if it's only one person. That one person can make a difference in everybody's life one day.
Yeah. And when you're doing it with your family, I'm sure that makes you feel pretty good. Like, I look over and it's my mom. I look over and it's my dad. I look over and it's my brother. I mean, that's super cool right there.
It's amazing.
Yeah. You got the whole world ahead of you out there. And I just want to be a contributor along the way, because you're phenomenal. Somebody called me a few weeks ago and they said, you gotta meet this young man, Cameron Jackson. You got to bring him on your show. He and his family are phenomenal. And let me tell you, you're really living up to the reputation that preceded you. I'm looking forward. Yeah. I'm looking forward to what's gonna come next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully a lot comes next.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's your conversations like with your friends? Are your friends also really this active? What's your conversations like with them?
I got a couple friends who actually I met at Berkeley, and they're active in music. I got one friend who I'll be interviewing her coming up like in November. She's a rapper and she's like my age, a little bit older, but she's my age. I got friends in Cali who are singers and are my age, drummers my age. So it's like wide range. But then I also got friends who I like just play games with, or we just talk like regular,
Right.
It's not really music related. It's more like just do what you do.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any aspirations to collaborate with any of your friends in the future?
Yes, all
Like
of
doing
them.
what?
Maybe for the drummers, maybe have like sheds that are put out, or we go on tours together, or maybe they just trade off, which would be amazing for me because I take your licks, you take mine. So,
Right,
and as far as the music goes, if people work with me as far as producing, that would be great if you're my friend. If
right,
you don't, well, I'll get work either way. But it would be great to have a friend working with me. So
right.
we know what's going on, and it's not like you're a new person and I have to reintroduce myself and say, this is how I want it. You know how I already am. So
Hmm. That brings me to this. What do you think about rap and hip hop today? And who are your favorite artists?
oh, that's the best question. That's the best question. So as far as rap goes, I love it. Favorite artist, let's go. I really don't have one. I just
Whoa.
it's more like actually let me take that back.
Yeah, take that back, man.
Tupac then.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if we're going because for me I listen to the rap for the beats, the lyrics and everything else. So I have one if you like lyrically, which is Tupac for me. People might disagree, um but as far as the new generation goes, all of them are amazing. Like
Wow.
all of them, they have their own perspectives.
Mhm.
Whether it be the beat that they have their own, whether it be the voice choice, the auto tune that they pick, whether it's no auto tune in general, which is
Mhm.
rare. Um, yeah, who they work with, all of it.
That's refreshing to hear you say that you really rock with the younger artists because, sometimes I think that younger artists, they don't get the credit that they deserve for their creativity and for the hard work that they put in to put out quality projects. So for to hear you, let us know that, hey, I think that the younger artists are cool. I think that's a big deal.
Now, real quick to that point, I think most of the time they don't get that credit because you have older people running the industry. So the industry works in you got people who already been there. Once
Hmm.
those people move, their kids take over. And it just keeps going. So once you're in, it's like, yeah, but the people at the top, once you get to the top, your family starts moving up. So I think the older people who are at the top, or older people in general, most of the time when they're listening to younger rap, they're hearing all the words where it's like guns, I'm in the hood, I'm trying to get away from something. I think most of the time what they don't hear in some of the raps is this isn't good, I gotta get away. But the way they're saying it makes it kind of sound like I'm involved in it.
Right.
But sometimes they are involved, but they have to get out of it.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's kind of like a story. If you listen to certain raps, it's a story. Now, other raps are just for fun, and you like, man, that goes hard. But
Mhm.
some raps are a story of their lives, and you just got to pay attention to that.
Absolutely. You definitely are one of the generations of music that we can look forward to. I see you as a member of the freshman class, and rap is my favorite genre of music.
Me
You
too.
know, yeah, yeah. I love Tupac. What's your favorite song by Tupac?
Dear Mama, that's one because that's a really good song.
Right. Yeah, it is. Yep.
Do for Love, that's another one.
Okay.
Keep Your Head Up, that's another
That's
one.
another
They
one.
got so many bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. Real quick. Who's your top three from today though? This can't be all of them. Who's your top three?
Top three. Dear Mama, Keep Your Head Up.
No, top three rappers of today.
Okay, bet. Today, Roddy Rich, The Baby, and Little Baby. Them three rappers, they're perfect. They're
Yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah.
all over.
I'm definitely impressed by all three of those guys. Roddy Rich, he's very talented in terms of music. I think he plays the piano or something like that.
I'm not very sure on that, but I do know I saw a live performance of him doing NPR. I mean, he did it as well as he was doing with tracks.
Right.
So
Yeah. Would
yeah,
you like to do a Tiny Desk concert one day?
yes. That's a dream. Like just to play with an artist, even if it's only on cajon, which is another percussion instrument, that would be cool because it's like this is a dream come true. Me sitting here with an artist playing for them,
Right.
as something everybody across the world gets to see.
Sure. And you're also one of those artists that young people across the world is going to want to see. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we're talking to Cameron Jackson. This man is building a legacy in music. He's been building a legacy in music. And so he's somebody to know. I want you to continue to inspire people out there. And I want to let you know that you inspired me today. You educated me today. You motivated me today. And so you are definitely leaving your mark out there in the world, young man. I look forward to seeing you go very far out there.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing myself go very far. You never know what tomorrow can bring. Tomorrow, honestly, in anything, tomorrow can be your last day. So I hope that I can get that far, and I really do hope that I can become one of the biggest either drummers or the biggest entertainers out there. So
yeah, absolutely. You're already doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a great time today with Mr. Cameron Jackson.